Coming up, we're going to talk about what our dream DVC resort would be on this week's episode of The DVC Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The DVC Show. Coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by realtor and co-owner of movingtoorlando.com, Sean Falk.
Hi.
Mr. Paul Krieger.
Hey, everybody.
New Orlando resident.
Almost. Well, by the time this goes up, we'll probably be moved. Yeah.
And, of course, our producer, back in the saddle.
Mr.
Corey Fiascanaro.
Welcome home.
So, Sean, this was your idea to do a show on what our dream DVC resort would be. And so I'm going to let you start.
Yeah. So we did something similar on our Moving to Orlando channel. That was like, once you move to Orlando, what is your dream day at Disney like? And so we all kind of gave our pitch, and I thought it'd be fun to bring over to this and just say, hey, if we were going to create a new Disney, like a new DVC resort, where is it going to be located? What's kind of the theme and whatever else about it that would make it unique, special? Why do you feel strongly about it? So, I've tried to put all that in mind of like, what would I like to see and what's unique and different. So I actually had two, and I was like waiting for other people to go because I'd just switch if somebody else did something too similar to what I'd already done. Because I'm like, if we all pick the same thing, like, because we don't know what each other's picking. So
we don't talk about it before time.
Yep. So my top pick that I think would be really cool and I would buy into myself would be definitely a DVC in the mountains. So that's definitely the route that I would go with this. Torn on location, I was either thinking Vermont. There's an area kind of right outside of the Albany area going over to the Vermont border. Or I was thinking in the mountains in Tennessee. So one of the two could kind of work.
Which is home for you.
Yeah. So, but Vermont, I think, would be a better ski resort area. You're going to get a lot more snow throughout the year and a cool like cabin feel to everything. So, I definitely want to see like Disney elements in it, but it'll be more wilderness lodge style. So more lodge type food. Definitely a sit down dining restaurant that's going to be very cabin feeling, very like almost Whispering Canyons style that's going to be there. But it definitely needs to be like on the slopes, having like inner tubes and those types of things to go tubing and have that really cool family experience somewhere necessarily outside of the parks. And I know DVC resorts don't always do the best when they're not at a theme park and have that attachment, but I think it'd be just enough for people in the Northeast to like get their Disney kick every year without having to, if they can't make the trip down to Disney. And of course, if it's like super, super hot here in the summertime or whatever. And it really is something that could be open all year, because even it'd be a unique experience because the slow season for that would be the summer. So that would be the low point season. And I think it would give people who want to trade into that and use the Vermont cabin style DVC an opportunity to go in the summertime and stay somewhere at a lower price point. Whereas we don't have anything at a low price point in the summer right now. That's the most expensive everywhere.
The words low price point and Disney are not ever used in the same sentence. No. So, but I think that's a fantastic idea. That like something like, even for me, that's something that I would be interested in.
Right.
More so than I am in like Vero Beach or Hilton Head.
Right.
That would be there with Aulani, I think, for me, because I love Aulani. What about you, Paul? None of you better take my idea.
Oh no!
Let's see.
I'm nervous now.
I guess mine wasn't it. So
I know you won't take. Yeah, I know you won't.
Did you really think my idea would be go in the mountains?
No, I did not. I never thought that was going to happen.
Now I'm really scared about my second one. The first one is a no-brainer for me, and anyone that sort of has heard me talk about this resort before, and this is sort of my cop-out, but Coronado Springs. Ever since they built Grand Destino Tower, that resort has taken on just a whole new feel to me. And it is just, we were able to stay there one night when we came in for the 50th anniversary last week. And it's just walking around, grabbing a cup of coffee and walking around that resort with that Spanish Mexican sort of infused theme throughout. It's just a paradise. Now, I will take that, just because that's sort of an easy answer. I'll take that a step further, and I would say I would love them to build a tower at Coronado Springs, and I would love it to be an adults-only tower. I think that could appeal to a new generation, maybe, of DVC audience. I don't know. And it keeps that resort, in my opinion, it keeps that resort quiet, because it's quiet as it is now, because it's a convention resort. So there's not a whole lot of conventions going on at Disney right now. But even when there were, it never felt like it was crazy to me. And right now, it does not feel like, after being there, it did not feel full whatsoever. All right, that's my cop-out answer. My second answer is something that we've speculated for a long time, but what is the only other type of vacation that people sort of come back to year after year? And in my eyes, that's cruising. And I've said for a while,
damn you. First of all, I didn't realize we were answering like giving multiple options. I thought everybody was going to pick one, but apparently I wasn't specific. So
Lighthouse Point. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Please, by all means.
No, I just it intrigues me what they're doing with Lighthouse Point, which is the new private island that they're building in the Caribbean.
Bahamas.
It's in the
Bahamas. Yeah,
it's Caribbean.
So the new private island that they're building, and when Amy and I went on our honeymoon, we went to Sandals White House, which is in Jamaica. And it is a place that still to this day we continue to want to go back to. It has special memories to us, but it sort of turned my wheels of how could you create a Disney Vacation Club that's maybe a little bit separated, but tie it with something else. So I don't know that it's necessarily Disney Vacation Club on a cruise ship, but could you potentially make a set of Disney Vacation Club villas on Lighthouse Point that either you fly to, which they'd need to build an airfield, and that'd be a whole other mess, but that maybe you could take a cruise to, and maybe you're there for a couple days and then you cruise back. And it's a new opportunity for both Disney Vacation Club, but also sort of cross branding and cross company. It's also a great opportunity for Disney Cruise Line to maybe leverage a smaller type of ship for specifically Disney Vacation Club members or something like that. So, and it would definitely be appealing to me. I would love to hop on a boat, go out to my Disney Vacation Club villa for a week or so, and then hop on a cruise back.
Okay. Fiasco.
All right. So our DVC resort is going to be located right here in Florida, Walt Disney World, and more specifically, it's going to be located in the Animal Kingdom resort area for two reasons. One, that area needs some more love and things, and there's lots of land open in that area. But two, because the resort is going to utilize sight lines, as Disney once did, very intently. And from anywhere in the resort outdoors, you're going to have a great view of Expedition Everest. And the reason being is this is the Adventurers Lodge. It's themed to the Adventurers Club. And the lore behind the resort is that you're the lodge right at the base of Expedition Everest. And that the cast members there are all part of this story of being like, oh yeah, they're going to be like, oh, when you check in, they're like, oh, let me get you in real quick. Like I just got back from the mountain, and like, it's going to be a whole thing. And of course is
this another mandatory fun resort?
No, you don't have to go along with it, but there will definitely be some type of like fun role playing stuff like that. Not as to the level of Star Wars, but think like, Jungle Skipper kind of deal. And we'll definitely have a restaurant similar to Jungle Skipper. I mean, that's basically what you'd expect. But then as well, the quick service, what I don't like is things like Artist Palette or Cosmic Rays, where it's like, here's our quick service and we have burgers and chicken nuggets. And it's like, okay, whatever. I don't like that. I like things like Satuli Canteen and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, it's quick service at those good prices, but you're coming up with unique things. So the quick service would have different quick service dishes for places all around the world. So there'd be an African-inspired quick service item, an Italian-inspired quick service item, an Asian-inspired quick service item. And then on top of that, the gift store, you're going to have your basic Disney DVC gift store with like the regular Disney merchandise, whatever they're trying to sell at the time, as well as the little grocery section. But then it's going to have its own individual unique resort store. Call it whatever you want. The name I came up with was Antiquities, but I don't even know if that's correct. Basically, it's an adventurer's spot. And in that store, they're going to have a few select merchandise pieces from Disney locations all around the world. So you might be able to buy an Olu from Aulani, because you can buy those at the Polynesian right now. But then you also might be able to buy like a little Duffy bag from Disneyland Japan. Maybe some pins.
Tokyo Disneyland?
Yeah, Tokyo Disneyland. So maybe some pins from Hong Kong will be there. And it will be rotating, and it will always be a few things from all the different places around the world. But it's just a cool little thing addition, like, oh, this store is awesome. And I love Riviera, and I think Riviera is awesome. But something I've been waiting for in a Disney resort for a while is to match the level of Grand Floridian or surpass that for additional shopping. You know, you go to the Grand Floridian and it has like 4 stores in it. It has a clothing store, a perfume store, a basin, its regular Disney store, and its DVC store. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. Like, do more of that. And I was like, oh, I bet Riviera is going to do something like that. Like, it'd be cool to have some like an outdoor shopping strip or something like that is something I envisioned. But no, it's just the one small little store. The art thing they have there where you can design the art is awesome. But that's really all they have. So I think my resort's definitely going to capitalize on, okay, there's multiple shops, maybe even more than those too. And then, of course there'll be a spa. I don't know how we're going to theme it in, but we're going to have a census. We can give it some clever name and whatever, but there's going to be a spa, of course.
Okay. So I also have 2. My first one, the first thing I thought of immediately, a little different than yours, Paul. When you first said cruise, I'm like, damn you. But you went to Lighthouse Point. Legally, I don't know how they get away with it. But build a cruise ship that you buy ownership in. And so it's the resort is the ship. And it doesn't necessarily have to go anywhere. My favorite part of a Disney cruise are days at sea. They are the most relaxing. So like, think about like DVC is like, we love it, right? We go to the resorts, but it's all about running around Walt Disney World, running around, run. 3-night cruise. 3-night cruise. Out at sea. I don't need anything else. I don't need ports. Now, look, and again, from my perspective, I'm about to go on I think it's my 33rd Disney cruise, and just on Disney. And we start adding in other cruise lines, like I'm over 50, I think. But, so for me, I've done ports. I've done Alaska. I've done Europe. I've done Caribbean and Bahamas, and haven't done Mexico yet. But what I live for are those days at sea. They are, because you can do whatever you want. I want to sleep in. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go get some spa treatments done. I just want to lay up on deck and eat. And then you have the restaurant options and the entertainment. The entertainment's come a long way on Disney Cruise Line. I think that for me, you don't have to go anywhere. And I had actually pitched this to Disney executives last year with COVID. I'm like, just let us go on the ship as a hotel and stay. We don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave. Now for this, I would want it to go somewhere, but you don't have to stop at a port. Just let me have 3 days at sea on a ship. And make that the DVC experience. Buy into that. I don't know, cool. Again, because timeshare is a real estate interest. I don't know how that works, with something that's floating around.
Do I need insurance on my DVC then in case it sinks?
Really?
I don't know. But
Really?
I like the idea. Like going anywhere, like just going out to sea and coming back is neat. But also like you could take that ship and like each year it could be positioned somewhere else. So like your Disney Vacation Club ownership ship is now in Alaska this season. And so your ownership this year is an Alaskan cruise.
Do you know how fast they would sell that out?
Oh yeah, very.
Do you know
good.
how fast? Now, again, keep in mind, you have to spend $600 million building a ship,
Yeah.
or more. So I think the wish was over $1 billion, I think, for them to build.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, there's that. So we could imagine if they would.
How many rooms are on a cruise ship?
Oh, a
roughly?
lot.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
on a Disney?
a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like
Um,
it'd probably be bigger and more massive than any Disney Vacation Club resort that we've ever.
But idea number two. Build the Persian resort that was originally planned for Walt Disney World on Discovery Island. Because Discovery Island now is like the Hunger Games, I guess.
Yeah.
It's abandoned and it's, full of all sorts of
Brain-eating amoebas.
and animals and whatnot. But I would take that land and build that Persian, because that's originally, I believe, where it was slated to be built, was on the island that eventually became Discovery Island. They were going to build a Persian resort. And I think that could just open up so many possibilities. So many possibilities.
There's been talk recently, and I saw it when I was on the monorail not too long ago. But they're doing some preliminary ground, like not ground prep, but you can tell like they're doing some study basically between. I want to say it's somewhere around Seven Seas Lagoon, where like you can tell that I feel like they keep coming back to that land every once in a while.
You notice how none of our dream resorts in this conversation was reflections.
Yeah, really.
The rehab. Although, a DVC rehab, I'd go because I've been.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're always looking for something. They're always looking for an opportunity. But I think that go back to those original plans and put something like that in. But for me, I swear to God, I would start selling stuff if they did a DVC cruise, like a ship that was just DVC. I would. I'd start selling stuff.
No, I agree. I would do the same thing. And part of wanting to do this was hoping to get, audience feedback. And I was kind of like, if we end up getting enough feedback of people saying like, oh, this is what I would do, and it's in depth and thought through, then we may be able to do a show at a later date that's like, these are the ideas other people presented, like what do we like, what do we not like the kind of stuff. So
yeah, so
feel free to contact.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave a comment down below this video with your thoughts. Do you like any of the ideas we presented? Do you have ideas of your own? While you're down there, it wouldn't kill you to hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button. Okay, that really helps us out with YouTube. And so do your comments, though. So do your comments.
Yes.
That engagement helps us out with YouTube as well. But I was thinking the exact same thing. Leave comments, and then we'll do a show on what you think. And, just the four of us came up with some great. I love the idea of an adventurers club
like
resort.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
That'd be so cool.
And Joe Rohde has to come back and design that. And do
that'd be
all-
really-
100% has to be him.
And, doing something in the mountains of Tennessee or even Vermont. Well, I think I would do Tennessee.
Vermont's tougher to get to. That's the
I
problem,
would
yeah.
do Tennessee before I would do. Vermont's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but I would probably do Tennessee before Lighthouse Point. Doing something. We've talked about. We'd speculated at one point. I don't know if it was on a DVC show or something else. That why don't they build a DVC resort on Castaway Cay?
Yeah,
and I remember talking to some executive at DCL years ago, not about DVC per se, but what about putting a resort there? He said the biggest problem is we don't have the supply line. I mean, we rely on the ships to bring us everything. And that would be a big part of the problem. Plus, apparently at night, Castaway Cay turns into like Jurassic Park with these insects and things that come out. Because the minute it gets dark, that's why you can't be on Castaway Cay after dark, because they don't have like the big lights that you need and for swimming in particular, but also to keep away the bugs that will apparently kill you.
The dinosaurs.
But I think Lighthouse Point, being that it is so close to civilization, so to speak, because people live there now or live close to it, because there was a big issue about that, which Disney seemed to take care of. They just gave them money and then, bulldozed their house. I don't know. But I think there's a lot DVC could do. I think anything they do is going to come with a hefty price tag. We were talking in the show we just recorded before this about Disneyland Tower and what we think that's going to go for. But I think there was some very good ideas here.
The easy option they keep coming back to, it feels like, is build another resort at Disney World, and eventually they're going to have too many of those. So it would be neat to see them do something more creative again.
Well, I think they probably have been put off by doing resorts that aren't attached to theme parks, because look, Vero Beach, Hilton Head, while they're sold out, I mean, they're not exactly the most popular places, of all the DVC resorts to go. And then, of course, Aulani, which opened 77 years ago and is still selling.
Yeah.
And which, if you look at, go to Aulani. As if you're thinking about DVC, go to Aulani. And then come back and tell me, I don't want to buy there. I don't know. I walk around Aulani with my wallet out going, take my money. So it's got any number of opportunities. Of course, it does require creative leadership, and it's too early to say whether Bill Derrickson.
I have no idea.
I'll get the pronunciation of his name. I'm not doing it out of disrespect. I'm doing it out of ignorance. I don't know how he pronounces his last name. It looks like Derrickson. It's too early to tell whether Bill Derrickson is that kind of leader. If he can pilot DVC into creating something new and different that kind of reinvigorates the brand in a way. I don't know. But I think these are some great – I'm excited about these ideas.
They're not real, though, so
I know.
Don't get too excited.
I really, really want them to start building these.
Yeah.
Get started on that ship. I'm in. You'll probably make enough money for me to pay for the ship. I would love, oh my God, I would so love that. I'd lose my mind. But let us know what you think down in the comments below. What would your dream DVC resort be? And at some point we'll do a show. We'll take those suggestions. We'll do a show with the ones we like, with the ones we don't like. We'll talk about them and mock you on the show, because that's what we do. I'm kidding. Probably. All right. That is going to do it for this week's episode of the DVC show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week. Have a great one, folks.